Okay, I briefly want to start to talk about hair. It's all different depending on if your hair is up in a ponytail, if you have short hair, if you have curly hair, if you have straight hair. But hopefully this helps you get the idea of it. So you can see the example I've done here. But we want to try to get our hair in just the way we've done everything else. So sometimes students have their awesome value face and then they just draw these little lines and like, okay, it's hair, because we know that our hair has like strands of little pieces of hair, so that's how they draw it. But just like everything else that we've done, we want to find those values and those shapes in our hair to make it look realistic. Okay, so I guess I'm going to draw kind of small here, but that's fine. Here's general shape of my head. So right here on my photo, I have shadow. I have shadow like around my face and kind of by my neck. And then there's some smaller shadow shapes kind of within. So whether your hair is all one color, if it's highlighted or not, your photo has highlights and shadows within your hair just because of the way that the hair was kind of laying and falling. So we want to look for those shapes to get those in. And then I also kind of try to draw in the hair the direction that it is going. So this one I know is coming down here, so I'm kind of trying to draw my lines that way too. So it looks really funny as I was starting out. It's starting to come together a little bit better here. And then in some of these like wispier bangs, I do have some smaller, not like triangles, but smaller shadow shapes. And then I have some of those starting to come down here. So like here, as I'm getting to the curl, it's darker, whether your hair's curled or straight or messy or however it is, darker where it's folding away from you, and then as it bends towards you, we kind of get the highlight. And sometimes I just kind of go through and get like a general medium volume or value, and then I can go through and darken or lighten areas. Okay, so for example, here's like medium value right here. I'm going to try and get kind of that shape of that darker area, and it's never like really blocky, so it's not like a triangle or like a rectangle, I guess. Like it has little lines that's coming down onto it. So then as it starts to bend down here, there's a few more darker spots and kind of down towards the end. And then there's a little bit darker towards my scalp. And then, let's see, over here, some of these are kind of folding in and coming down. And then we can erase out if we need to and pull back some of the highlights, or again, not necessarily lighter color of your actual hair, but just where the light is reflecting off of it. So I still have a lot of work to get on that one, especially kind of around this area. But I took my time more when I did this example, and you can see if I kind of keep adding to it, it's going to show up the way we want it. If your ears are showing, mine are not. But again, kind of check the shape. Everybody's ear is a little bit different. Usually there's kind of like a ridge on the top, and then like the inner ear part, that earlobe is usually softer. So then the shadowing is usually darker, and then it gets kind of lighter as it gets away from that. I'd have to see an example to draw it really well, but there's a decent, quick kind of ear. So just like everything else, look for the values. If you have done your eyes, your nose, mouth, or a mask, and your hair, and you found the values. Again, no matter what our skin tone or ethnicity or race is, no one's is really blank white like the paper. So if you haven't gone through and make sure that your skin is all the shade of gray that matches your photo, you can do that, depending on if you have your mask on or not. But there's not just a line like I have right now showing the difference between chin and neck. That is all done by subtle shading and the difference in shading. So really nothing besides maybe your eyes kind of have like an exact outline around them. And then you can start to do the skin around your neck too, depending. You might have like collarbones, or like you might have an Adam's apple showing, or different kind of structure. And then we can talk more about your shirt, but again, basically, just as everything else, we are getting the values. So I would probably want to get these kind of wrinkles to show the fold, and otherwise you can't see a lot of it. If you have a design and you want to draw it, go for it, but I'm not requiring. So if you just want to kind of give it a value that matches or that contrasts, then that would be good. And then our very last step is we'll erase the grid behind our face, but on the very edge where you have your ABC and 1, 2, 3 through 12, those boxes I will chop off so that it's even. You don't have to erase those. And then while I'm talking about hair, I have these eyebrows here. We talked about them when we talked about eyes. You can watch that video, but again, we want to get that softness of your skin, blend it out, and then you want to draw those little lines of your eyebrows. You don't want to blend over those.